What's up, everybody? Guess what? Tonight, we're not playing it safe. And we're not sitting on the sidelines watching all this crazy stuff happen and not have something to say. Listen, we live in a world where billionaires throw punches, athletes dodge rape allegations, and America's president, so-called along with the justice system, is handing out pardons like Halloween candy. But behind every clickbait headline, there's a deeper story. In the stories of power abused, systems bent, and silence being bought. From new courtroom bombshells in the P. Diddy saga to shocking video of Tory Lanez from Zion Williamson's lawsuit for abuse to Elon Musk allegedly laying hands on a member of Trump's cabinet. Tonight, baby, it's about the law, it's about accountability, and what it costs when the rules don't apply to the rich and famous. So here's the challenge. I need for everybody who's watching tonight and has joined us, pick a side, take a stance, speak your truth in that chat, because here at Celebrity Court of Public Opinion, you are the jury, and tonight's verdict, it's up to you. All right, let's get to our legal beagles. Joining us tonight, first up is author of Shit They Never Taught You in Law School, Attorney Weiss. Welcome back to Celebrity Court.
Thank you, Your Honor. Very excited to get some updates on that P. Diddy trial.
I know it, absolutely. Also joining him is humorist at law, Sean Carter. Get in here at Celebrity Court.
How you doing, Your Honor? Algoriters, good to see you.
All right, at the Legal Beagles, guess what? And fans and viewers and algoriters, let's start where the courtroom cameras can't go, but your girl can. Joining us now is our legal powerhouse, Simone Redrine, fresh off the courtroom bench with a front row seat to the P. Diddy trial. All right, Simone, are you there?
I'm here. Thank you so much for letting me join you guys.
Absolutely. In the streets of Brooklyn. All right, Simone, now you got
Yes, in the streets. Dropping it like it's hot. And then I picked it back up, in case you were wondering.
Listen, we got to know you're our eyes and our ears right now. The first question I have is, what's the real mood in that courtroom? Are jurors buying the defense, or is the dam about to break? Simone, give us some good tea now.
The ghetto. You know how Nene says the ghetto? Like, that courtroom is ghetto, okay? Like, will we be waiting in line in the morning time to get up in there? Okay, it's ghetto. It'd be fights. It'd be wrestling. Some of these people, I'm like, you know, you're on the wrong side of the line. You know, you're supposed to be over there with the defendants. And here you are trying to be a courtroom observer. So there's that, right? But then, as far as prosecution versus defense, it is very much a witness by witness decision. Like, it is a witness by witness call. But I'll say this regarding Mia, who was Diddy's assistant who testified under an alias due to the fact that one of her allegations was SA. She claimed that he raped her while she worked for him and then continued to work for him for about 8 more years. That's another story. Well, for example, with Mia's testimony, Mia had people in the courtroom in tears, like a tear coming down their face regarding the direct testimony. However, and then when the time came for cross-examination, she had jurors tapping each other, mouthing, "I told you." So to me, that says she lost the jury on cross-examination.
Wow. Okay, so you talked about that interesting line of people that were coming in. Today there was a shouting match going on. Can you talk to us about who initiated that shouting, and did you call her homeless?
Okay, well, I think she may or may not be a crackhead. Okay, she's a crackhead
Allegedly.
Allegedly. It may not be crack cocaine. That's expensive. Could be a little heroin. Could be a little mathematics. It could be some shit she made in the bathtub. I don't know. But there's a chemical imbalance involved there.
Okay.
And what happened in the courtroom was that the prosecution said, "Hey, Your Honor, we want to introduce some audio tapes of Diddy on the prison phone. I was like, "Ow, give it to us. I want to know what's he been talking about." Remember, there's a tampering with witnesses claim. So prosecution said, we want to introduce audio of Diddy on the prison phones because we believe that it's directly relevant to a claim. This stinky lady gonna stand up talking about Diddy, they trying to throw you, they trying to kill you, they trying to kill. Ma'am, if you don't take your prescriptions, take everything that you're prescribed. I don't want to hear about how it makes you feel. That's what my friends say when they bipolar a little bit and they don't want to take their medicine. They're like, "Oh, I don't like how it makes me feel." I like how it makes me feel when I'm in your presence when you're medicated. Take your medicine. So in the end,
oh yeah, go ahead.
I don't think they're going to let her come back. So in the end, there were no fisticuffs, but I don't think they're going to let her come back until she's medicated.
Okay, got it. All right. So, any other damaging testimonies besides Mia? So, you're telling us that Mia had won everyone over, but then lost everybody in cross-examination. What about the testimony? What about the testimony of the other people? Was there anything that you felt was like a win for the prosecution or a win for the defense?
Sure did. So, regarding the prosecution, today they called to the stand Eddie Garcia. Eddie was the hotel worker who received the $100,000 bribe. Today they proved up bribery, in my view. He took the stand, he discussed it. Now, and literally, this was the first time in this entire case where I feel that the defense did not put up any type of somebody's homeless. He didn't take his medication. Okay, it's fine. He didn't take medicine. But it was the first time that I feel like the defense didn't put up a true defense. So Eddie Garcia, hotel worker, took the stand, discussed the bribery and the tampering with witnesses. Well, on the defense, all they had was the prosecution asked Eddie, they said, "How come the first time you met with the prosecution, you did not inform them that you received money from Diddy?" And he was like, because Diddy made me sign an NDA, and I did not believe I was able to tell you this. I actually thought that was a good argument. I was expecting for the defense to at least have the argument that, "Oh, no, Your Honor, this wasn't a bribe. This was simply payment for a non-disclosure agreement," which you're totally permitted to do, but they didn't do it. They basically did not raise
we lost her.
Sorry, clarification. They basically did not raise a defense regarding
the payment. Okay. Last question, because I know you're busy and you have things to do. All right, tell me. Oh, did she leave? Is she gone?
You can hear.
She's back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Simone,
in the end, I was surprised that they didn't have a stronger defense. But that bribery evidence, guys, it was really cut and dry. Because you have to remember, bribery is in the ask. It does not matter that the first person that Diddy offered money to in exchange for making the camera, the video footage disappear, said no. Oh, and here was the other bombshell. It was actually KK, Diddy's assistant, that did all the legwork to make the video disappear. She began to harass the hotel worker. Not only did she start calling him on his cell phone, she then called him on his personal home phone, and he was freaked out. In addition, once that hotel worker, he showed up to a hotel that Diddy had with the USB drive that had the video. And he says to Diddy, he says, "Hey, listen, I'm concerned because if Cassie asks for this video, I'm screwed. If Cassie complains, I'm screwed." You know what Diddy did? Diddy then FaceTimes Cassie and says, "Oh, no, she'll be fine. She'll want you to destroy this because she's got a video coming up." And Cassie, according to him, Cassie said on the footage, she said, "Yeah, I have a movie coming up. So, yeah, I destroyed the footage."
Okay.
Y'all, that doesn't mean it's not. It's still bribery. So I
Right.
just want to make sure no one gets confused. But that was also an example of how clever, manipulative, etc. that Diddy can be in that moment.
All right, last question. I'm gonna let you go. Based on what you've seen since you've been in the courtroom, do you believe the prosecution is building a RICO narrative properly?
I do, and I think RICO has already been proven. RICO is good. Their challenge is that sex trafficking. They gonna have to figure something out, baby.
Okay. All right, everybody. You heard it first right here. Thank you so much, Attorney Redwine, for joining us even in your late hours of partying from New York
I'm going back
City.
to my date, y'all. I run out of clothes. I've been here so long. The last 48 hours, I've been wearing bikini panties. I've been wearing bikini draws as panties, okay? I'm about to go to Ross Dress for Less in the morning. I'm going to get me some new clothes, and I'm going to get some real cotton cross draws.
All right.
Thank
Have
you,
a
guys.
good night, Attorney. Have a good night, Attorney Redwine. Thanks as always for being and giving us
Bye,
the
y'all.
cutting
Bye-bye.
on the case. All right, everybody.
Get
Thank
you a
you.
slip, girl.
All right, algoritors. You heard it here. You heard it here first. Fresh from our take her off the stage. Heard it here first. All right, everybody. Let's keep this going. We've seen the mugshots. We've read the verdict. All right, guys. I can hear you. Hey, Sean, I can hear you. We've seen the mugshots. We've read the verdict, but now we see the video. New footage from the night Megan Thee Stallion was shot has surfaced with audio from witness Sean Kelly, and it changes everything. Oh, and guess who's now claiming she's helping him? Savannah Chrisley. Yes, you heard me correct. The daughter of the two recently pardoned reality stars, daughter who is a lawyer, will be working with Tory Lanez. Now, is this PR, pity, or is it political? All right, Jason, I'm going to throw to you. Oh, no, first, let's go to the bailiff. Bailiff, show us our evidence.
We'll go to jail. What's that? Do you think we can go to jail? I don't know. We're trying to figure it all out. As long as you guys cooperate with us and you guys tell us what happened, we'll go accordingly, okay? But if you guys are not telling us, if you guys are, then I don't think...
I really cannot go to jail.
Okay.
I cannot have that on my image.
Okay. So how did that happen to you?
Glass.
Glass? Where?
Where we were coming from. But I'm not from here, so I...
Okay.
That's the only place you got shot at? That's the only place you got shot?
I didn't get shot.
Oh, you did it?
No, ma'am. No, sir.
Then the gun, then the girl shoots herself. So the driver's door's open.
You're seeing the girl shoot?
Can I help you? I think, is it this house?
Yes, I'm so sorry.
Okay.
My bad.
So you see the girl doing the shooting?
I see what appears to be the girl standing here and shooting into the car. That's what it looked like to me. But it was dark, and I'm above, so... But then the guy gets out again from the back.
Okay.
What did we lose?
We may have lost Sean, but
Okay, let's go to you,
we
Jason.
keep rolling.
Let's look at this picture right here, because what I think what's interesting about this picture for the algorithms, if you could look closely to Kelsey's right leg, which would be, if you're looking at the screen, her left leg, that is scratching. That is scratches on her below the knee,
Yep.
right leg. Those are scratches because the witness said that two women were fighting, that they were fighting. All right. So it appears to me that if she has scratches on her legs, then she must have been kicking Megan. right? And we're showing this picture because, of course, Tory Lanez doesn't have any scratches, any marks, or anything on him. But she has scratches from her fight with Megan on her legs. So I'm assuming she must have been kicking Megan and Megan was scratching her. I'm just thinking in my head, how else would she get scratches down on her leg? All right, Attorney Weiss, let's go to you. How does video evidence like this impact appeals, especially after conviction?
So first of all, I mean, maybe those scratches came from the glass on the ground that they're claiming that, you know, that she stepped in. Don't know. Second thing is, while we were watching the content, I just did a quick search. I don't think Savannah Chrisley is an attorney. So
no, she says that she's going to be working with him. Can we see her testimony, please, Bailiff?
To know, do you believe that Tory Lanez shot Megan Thee Stallion? Do you or do you not? Because I find things to be very interesting that I have begun reviewing. And I really don't know if he did. I also do believe in my heart, after I have reviewed certain things, that there was some corruption to go on in this case. And I just wanted to read a few things off to you that you may not know. I would love for you to challenge my beliefs. I would love for you to tell me your thoughts and who you think shot who and what you think happened. But just to read off to you a few things that you may not know. Megan told police, and I will preface this by saying these are things that have allegedly been said, because Lord knows I don't need Megan Thee Stallion coming after me. But Megan allegedly told police and doctors that she stepped on glass, not that she was shot. Video and officers confirm Megan stepped on a glass bottle, not hit by gunfire. Sean Kelly testified. 2 women fought in the street. One fired first. Tory was still in the car. Kelsey tested positive for gunshot residue. Her DNA was never tested against the gun. Kelsey received free rent for a year after the shooting. Who paid for it and why?
So you're right. She's not a lawyer. She's allegedly going to be a lead detective, whatever that means. I guess using her celebrity to put more exposure to the case in hopes for Tory Lanez to get an appeal. Now, she claims she met Tory Lanez's father here in Washington, D.C. over the weekend and had some time to talk extensively to him about the case, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so what are your thoughts, as I said before, on I heard your thoughts. Let's go to you, Attorney Carter. How does video evidence like this impact appeals, especially after a conviction?
You know, the problem is that it really doesn't. To be able to open this case, they're going to have to prove that there was not only error, but that this is new evidence that came to light. And this is all stuff that had been coming to light before. Had the bodyguard come and testified at trial like he was supposed to, this could have been admitted. It might have made a difference. But basically, the court kind of, does the kind of thing you would do, which is like, hey, too bad, so sad. You had an opportunity to do this at the time. You didn't do what you were supposed to do at the time, and we're not going to keep relitigating this every 2 weeks because now somebody comes up with new evidence. And it's like I said, it's not new evidence. If it was something that they found out later after the fact, we've known all this the whole time. Now, what is scary about this, though, is the thought that if it's true that Tory did not shoot her, and by the way, even though she said she was cut by glass, medical experts confirmed there were bullet fragments in her foot, so something shot her. And if it's true that he didn't do it, it means that 2 women got up there knowing the truth, right? And blamed it on him.
Well, it won't be the first time. That won't be the first time that a black man's been blamed for something he didn't do.
No, but usually that's a white woman, right? And seriously, I mean, that would be a horrible thing. All right. I'm not sure if that's proven to be true, how Megan comes back from that, because that's one thing to be mistaken. We have that oftentimes with mistaken identity. You thought this was this person, that person. Well, you knew it wasn't him and said, I'm going to send him to prison for 10 years for something I know he didn't do.
I mean, I still believe that he's cheaper to send to prison than watch her entire multi-million-dollar career go up in flames. I've said this from the beginning when it first happened. Something in the milk ain't clean. It's something, I don't care what anybody says, something in the milk ain't clean. And the next question that I have, and these are questions, does not mean that I am not on somebody's side. These are freaking questions, people. Hello? All right. The question is, if she lied on national television, with who did she interview with? With Robin Roberts? One of those, Gayle King, one of those. Right. If she lied to Gayle King, she lied to the cops, she lied to so many people in this process, what makes you think she's not lying about Kelsey not shooting her?
Nothing. I look, it went to trial, it went to jury. All the evidence that they could put on, they put on, and that's it. This is where this should end. Now, the only thing I think is that because this is such a high profile celebrity case, that is why this is getting some traction. The best thing in the world right now for Megan is the fact that everybody is glued to the P. Diddy. So that she is getting less attention, and eventually that's going to die down because the P. Diddy case is going to continue to explode. So, I mean, this whole thing is nothing new was found, nothing undiscovered. This was all discoverable, had the proper research.
Well, except for the bodyguard, the bodyguard coming forward and speaking for the first time. That's new.
The bodyguard was known. They could have gone out and found. You got to remember, the state and everybody has these resources. They can go out and find this guy.
No, and he was on the witness list for the defense. He just didn't show up.
Yeah, but he
ran away.
He just kind of magically disappeared, which doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
And it seems like a very sophisticated go get missing for the sake of this trial, and people still can't explain to me why, whether it was conditional or not, why Kelsey got immunity. I'm still not understanding that, but we could talk about this all night, but we're only supposed to do 2 hits on that really quickly. Let's move on to our next case. He was supposed to be the future of the NBA. Now he's the face of a lawsuit no one saw coming. Zion Williamson is being sued for rape and long-term abuse, yet he's still playing. Should we be asking why powerful men in sports continue to get the benefit of the doubt? I'm going to throw to you, Attorney Carter. Should the NBA suspend players facing civil rape allegations?
No. Now, and here's why. You talk about due process. At the very least, and by the way, the NBA has this ability. In the CBA, the collective bargaining agreement, there's a provision that says no domestic violence, and if there is an allegation that comes up, we can investigate it. Now, the NBA does not investigate these things normally because they allow the law enforcement to investigate it. They got better investigators, et cetera. Mm-hmm. So, for instance, we've got 2 big cases in the past couple of years. There was a case involving a player named Miles Bridges and another guy named Taylor who were accused criminally of domestic violence. Then both of them pled no contest. They were then sentenced by the court, and then the NBA came by and suspended them for 30 games and 19 games, respectively. So the NBA will step in, but they say, hey, we don't want to be judge and jury here. And this is an interesting case because this is a civil case. So there's not going to be any criminal investigation, but what they'll likely do is wait until the end of the civil case and then decide, okay, if he's been found liable, we might have to deal with this. Now, the good news for the NBA is they don't have to worry about it because Zion is about 2 po' boys away from not being able to play anyway with his chunky butt. So he probably is going to be eat himself out of the league before this comes to the light. The real question, though, is, man, I'm starting to find it hard to believe every week some young brother is being accused, right, of some type of crime like this. And I just want to know this, can we get a white athlete? I need a Tom Brady, somebody, because it just looks wrong at this point.
Justin Tucker.
We would if we get one cup, if we get one in the news.
Justin Tucker,
who?
The kicker from Baltimore.
Yeah, but we've already talked about him on this show.
Yeah, we only got one of them. Right, we got one of them.
Yeah,
we need 30. We need one and one.
Right.
About,
oh, you talked about the sexual assault. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
So look, he's not even really playing in the league right now. And here's the thing, right? Think about this. If you don't want somebody to play, if you're a bookie in Vegas and you say, hey, I want, I've got bets, I've got whatever. Hey, girlfriend who loves me, make some accusations about some grapes. Let's see what happens. The league suspends him, all done, right? So the league's not going to do that, especially if it's only civil. They find a criminal. If they find a criminal, and it's found that way, got problems. And even if, and with that's probably what he's going to do, he settles outside of court before a trial, the settlement will be private and it will protect his playing career. So Zion, wrap it up.
Let me ask both of you, how do civil suits differ from criminal charges in accountability and perception?
So I think when it comes to, if you're charged with something criminal, I think the public and the media and everybody else will dig deeper and see it's more serious. Civil, Your Honor, they could go ahead and accuse anybody of anything at any point in time. So I think there's a lot less shock value to a civil. Oh, she's been sued, he's been sued civilly. Okay, when he or she is brought up on criminal charges, that's where we're all like, what's going on? And then the civil suit will follow.
Got it. All right, everybody. You heard it here. Whereas we move on in the show, please hit that like button because the likes aren't liking. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, hit that share button and invite a friend over to join us on the show. Don't forget to turn on your notifications. And as always, we love you dropping down into the comments. Next up, one of our favorites. We've called him a tech genius, a space pioneer, and even a billionaire wild child. But now Elon Musk stands accused of physically assaulting Trump's Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent. Let's be clear. If you or I laid hands on a government official, we would be in jail. So my question is here, Attorney Carter, why is Elon Musk walking free? Isn't it a misdemeanor at minimum if you put your hand on a Trump executive officer?
Well, absolutely. I think the reason he's not is because and I don't know this, allegedly, I'm going to say maybe Trump owes Elon some money. Or Elon's got some tapes because Elon does the technical stuff, right? Twitter, he got maybe he be in Trump's DMs on Twitter. He knows the kind of titty pics that are coming through or whatever. Because it's amazing the kind of stuff he puts up with Elon, right? Elon came out today and was like, "Your big beautiful bill is ugly." All right. And he atrocious. And he was like, yeah, Elon be Elon. Now what gets me there, put back Bessent up here, because I thought when I first heard he was a 62-year-old man, I was like, oh, damn, Elon, how you get whooped by a 62-year-old man? But Bessent looked like he might be able to throw those hands a little bit. So it was a fair fight.
Do we have a picture of Elon's black eye?
Yeah, it was Craig, Devo, and Smokey. He got knocked up. That's why there's no charges being pressed, because Elon's the one that got hit. He probably gave him a little bit of this, and then he cracked him right in the head. That's why there's no charges.
I need to know. Wait a minute. What was the reason for no charges?
No charges is because Elon was the one that got hit.
The one got knocked out.
Yeah, he was the one that got hit.
And he already resigned from Doge and everything else. So now
Elon says that his little boy hit him, and I will give him credit. You know why? Because if you named me X Batman symbol _24, I'd hit you too. All right, so the kid might have been mad. I get it. If he had, think about all the times he tried to spell his name in school and nobody know the hell he is.
I really want to know, what is the penalty if you do hit office, if you hit someone of the executive branch?
It's not, I mean, they don't have any special power or any special authority. Now, if they're in the course of their duties, so they're coming to, to close down your bank as a finance treasury, and then you go, now you got obstruction of government business, you have all that. But if his wife slaps the shit out of him, that's just marriage.
Yeah. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about another person. Elon, the Treasury Secretary is still an officer of the what you call them, right?
Yeah, but I
no,
mean,
no special status.
right? It's just considered battery, maybe battery on a government official. I mean, it's the same thing.
It really has to be in the course of his duties. If he's just sitting around there chilling, eating.
Well, they were in chambers going over a bill.
Yeah, they were. I mean, but that's usually the only way you get something special for obstruction is a obstruction of a government duty. If you try to keep him from doing something he was supposed to be doing, and you use violence, that might be add some extra penalty for it. Otherwise, like Attorney White said, it's just simple assault.
I just don't understand why we're sitting here acting like this is not a big deal. Like, when is the last time, back in the 1800s, I understand there was a lot of fighting in the chambers, but when's the last time have we seen people physically on the same side of the aisle beating each other up? That's just strange to me.
I like SL's comment. WWE SmackDown at the White House.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Your Honor. I mean, this is not decorum. It's not. But think about it. What about this administration would be? All right, these are all fools.
Right. Every single day, I get pop-ups on my phone that say something with Trump, something with the Supreme Court, something with courts. Like, lawyers are all over the place these days. Politics are all over these days. That's what our country is. That's what's going on right now. It's either Elon Musk, President Trump, or P. Diddy. Take your pick.
I mean, like you said, for instance, with Elon. Elon, by the way, we skipped past the whole ketamine thing, right?
His drug usage.
His drug use. That normally in the old days, if you smoke crack, unless you were mayor of DC, you had to go, and even he had to go.
I don't understand how you can work for the government and able to admit that you were actively on drugs, and everyone's acting like it's okay. He's over billions and trillions of dollars of the American money. And we're acting like, the fact that he's used not one, not two, not three, but 4 different drugs, go on this 2-week not sleeping rant and beating up people in Congress, and we're gonna all just act like it's okay. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And why am I the only one upset about this? I just don't get it. I don't get it. We've seen in America people make so much noise over people believing Trump that Obama's birth certificate was not American, that we try to throw him out the office. This man has assaulted women, stole from banks, still in elections allegedly, got to put people in charge that aren't even supposed to be in charge, made a whole new division with a crack and drug addict allegedly, and he's fighting the Treasury Secretary, and we're all acting like this is all normal. Like, where is the Constitution in any of this?
And Attorney Redwine said she saw her in the courtroom, so it's all good.
I'm done. It just does not make sense to me. Speaking of not making sense, New York Attorney General Letitia James isn't backing down in her latest legal battle. She's suing the department. Wait a minute. In her latest legal battle, she is standing up for the Department of Health and Human Services. Which most people are watching. Wow, most people are watching Burbo. She's taking on the federal government. I don't think she's taking on the federal government. She's taking on Donald Trump. Let's take a look right here, guys. Sorry, my teleprompter messed up.
Good afternoon, and thank you for being here. Today, I am announcing a lawsuit to stop the most sweeping and unlawful assault on public health in our nation's history. This administration has taken a wrecking ball to the Department of Health and Human Services. HHS is responsible for protecting and preserving public health. And since taking office, this administration has fired scientists, closed labs, shuttered life-saving programs without rhyme, reason, or any legal authority. Nothing but devastating consequences for millions of Americans. This is not government reform. This is not efficiency. The federal government has cut lab capacity so much that they have all but stopped testing for measles in the middle of an unprecedented measles outbreak. They have nearly stopped testing for measles. And right now, New York's public health lab, the Wadsworth Center, one of the only labs in the country still equipped to detect rare infectious diseases, is scrambling to fill the void left by a hollowed-out CDC. The World Trade Center Health Program.
So Robert Kennedy Jr. has to say.
Let me ask you this, Attorney Carter, because I find this just add it to the list of stuff that's really pissing me off. But let me ask you this: how successful is suing Donald Trump going to be for her, considering what he has on the bench in the Supreme Court?
No, well, see, and here's the thing is, we'll see how well the Supreme Court plays this, but this is not unusual. You know, when Obama was in office, when they challenged Obamacare, it was state attorney generals, just like Letitia James. When they challenged Biden's program for reducing the school loan debt, and were able to successfully get his program overturned, it was a bunch of attorney generals. So there are 17, I believe, state attorney generals that are going to do this. This is a common thing, and usually they don't have a reason. Like if you're just mad because you think government's tripping, you really don't have a reason. But they're saying, hey, this is our money. This is money that would have come to us. This is money that we could have used. And so we have a reason to say, hey, and they're going to use a thing. And I talk about this all the time. It's the only thing that lets me sleep at night. I sleep with it under my pillow. It's called the Administrative Procedures Act. And what it says is whenever the president wants to do something, the administration wants to do something, I don't care who the president is, it can't be crazy. You can't just be out here wilding. And it says you have to be deliberate to have the authority to do it. And what it's saying is, one, you don't have the authority. Congress set up the HHS. All right, Congress is the one who determines their funding. You can't just unilaterally take that money out. And two, even if you do try to take the money out, you have to do so reasonably. Give people time and effort to put comments in. Right. Usually, a government reform takes years. Right? I'll give you an example. The real ID, the thing that's bugging the heck out of you. You go to the airport now. You had that real ID. Do you know when that law was passed? 2002. Right after 9/11, it took them 22 years to get that right and to finally enact it. So the fact that Trump wants to do stuff in 3 days, all right, is going to be seen to be unreasonable. And I think even this court, particularly when he keeps coming at them and calling them names and whatever, is going to be able to hold the line on this type of stuff, because quite frankly, they realize that if they don't start holding the line, there's going to be no line to hold. All right, because eventually they'll say, you know what, no more Supreme Court. Right. And so they're going to have to start holding the line. And I think, they've got a good chance. Every time it goes to court, the court files an injunction against it. And so this is going to be, I think, the Administrative Procedures Act, people, you kiss it. It should be your new Bible.
So how strong is her case then?
Strong for what? Strong for winning, or strong for public awareness, or strong for trying to get back at Donald Trump?
For winning, strong for stopping this type of what would be gross negligence, in my opinion, of getting rid of all these programs and the CDC and health care and access and Medicaid and all that stuff.
Yes, I think Attorney Weiss is skeptical in the sense that usually the federal government gets a fair amount of leeway. And I think they would here, but here's the big argument they put, and it's a smart target argument. If Congress said, hey, we're going to get rid of DHHS,
yep,
we can do it.
Done.
We can do it tomorrow.
Finish.
It's finished. But the president doesn't have that authority. The
Correct.
President's not supposed to be making these decisions with regard to where money goes. The president's supposed to simply say, it's like the president's supposed to be the comptroller of your company, right? When you go to the comptroller and you say, hey, pay this invoice to so-and-so for travel, they're not supposed to do anything but write the check. They're not supposed to go, hey, wait a minute, how much money was that? Why are you spending this money? I want to spend this money on this person. No, you're just supposed to write the check. And so they're going to say to him, hey, this isn't your authority. Now, if Congress wants to pass that law, if he wants to push them to do it, then he can do it. So if the new budget says no more HHS, that's different. But he can't just unilaterally take the money out because he doesn't like it anymore. Right.
So do you think Congress wants to get rid of the HHS?
Some of it. Yeah, they're going to get rid of some of it in this big ugly bill. But until they do that, and even because he gutted it completely, like you said, she said, like Attorney James said, just fired all the workers. By the way, perfect example of firing the workers. You can fire federal workers. Yep. If you have about 20 years to do so. The reason that, by the way, black people have liked federal jobs is because you can't just come in there and just fire everybody on Tuesday, right? That's part of a law that's passed by Congress that says these are all the things that happen if you're a government worker. By the way, it's hard to even fire a government worker who should be fired, all right? And Trump going in there and just unilaterally firing people, all he's done is given them basically several months of free paid vacation, because every one of these people has an appeal to file with the courts, and they're going to all get their jobs back with back pay.
Yep, and interest.
Now,
some of them took the package and don't have any intentions of coming back. I've talked to a few folks here in the city,
but that's a minority.
Yeah, that's a minority. But I still contend, and the sentiment here in Washington, D.C., and if there are any algoriters that are in the chat in Washington, D.C., I've had this conversation at a cookout this past weekend, is that he's eroding the Black economy here in the DMV by pushing numbers, significant numbers, thousands of African Americans who make over $150,000 to the unemployment line, which erodes their economic power in the DMV and their influence. And I think personally that it was intentional, and that is once again a part of his strategy. And it's just like his whole administration strategy, and it just blows my mind, just like everything else that we're experiencing with this administration and this term, that it doesn't appear that anyone can stop him in all of this craziness. And I that's one reason I really want to pay attention to what Letitia James is doing, because she's the only one that seems to be ruffling any feathers and really being vocal about all of this wrongdoing.
No, but give you an example. We always think of, was we hear the Trump thing, we go, oh my God, he's running around lawless. But you realize 2 days after everything he does, the court says, no, you can't do that. So for instance, Harvard, he said, hey, we're going to take all your money. And the court said, no, you can't do that. They said, hey, you're not going to be able to let any more foreign students in. And the court said, no, you can't do that. Right. Mm-hmm. And so you can, and so the point is that but
what the courts are not saying is that you can't not take critical race theory out of the school systems. What the courts are not saying is that you, as a trans or as a LGBTQ, your rights are being taken away from you right underneath your nose. That's where the courts are staying silent and letting his decisions rule. It's still a number of people are getting hurt on the other side of this, and hurt in a very significant way. Even non-Black and brown people are significantly being affected in middle America, but that's a whole nother conversation. All right, as we rotate into our last conversation of the evening, be sure to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, be sure to hit that share button and invite your friends over to witness some of this craziness that these celebrities are getting in trouble in the court of law, and how we are breaking it down for you. Also, don't forget to turn on your notification, and as always, jump down into that chat. Last but not least, speaking of the administration, Julie and Todd Chrisley just caught a break, but it wasn't Jesus, it was Trump. New reporting shows the former president's pardon list now totals billions in losses to American taxpayers, and it includes pardons of celebrities, friends, and insiders. Bailiffs, show us the evidence.
Hey, everybody. You've asked for more information about the $1 billion worth of pardons granted by President Trump, and I am here to provide that. I'm Liz Oyer, former pardon attorney for the Department of Justice. I put together this list based on information in publicly available court filings, and I'm going to walk you through it. One of Trump's earliest pardons went to Ross Ulbricht, the founder of the Silk Road, an online dark web marketplace that sold contraband, including drugs. He was ordered to forfeit over $183 million in proceeds from his illegal activity. He received a full and unconditional pardon from President Trump. Devin Archer was convicted of defrauding a Native American tribe and ordered to pay over $43 million in restitution. He received a full and unconditional pardon, wiping out that debt. HDR Global Trading Limited, this is a really unusual one because this is a company that's receiving a pardon. President Trump is actually granting pardons to corporations as well as individuals. HDR was a cryptocurrency company that committed money laundering and was ordered to pay a fine in the amount of $100 million. 4 employees of HDR were also convicted of money laundering. Benjamin Dello, Arthur Hayes, and Samuel Reed were each ordered to pay fines in the amount of $10 million, and Gregory Dwyer was ordered to pay a $150,000 fine. Those fines were all wiped out by Trump's pardons. Trevor Milton, he's the one we talked about yesterday who was supposedly going to build an electric semi-truck. He defrauded investors to the tune of over $675 million, wiped out by a presidential pardon. Jason Galanis actually committed multiple different fraud schemes, and he was ordered to pay restitution in the amounts of $37 million plus $43 million. He received a full and unconditional pardon for all his frauds, and those debts were wiped out. Aussie Media is another company that received a pardon, and its founder, Carlos Watson, also received a pardon. They were convicted of defrauding their investors and each ordered to pay over $36 million in restitution. Michelle Fiore, she's the one who embezzled $70,000 from a police memorial fund and spent it on plastic surgery. That debt wiped out by her full and unconditional pardon. And finally, Paul Walchuk, he ran a healthcare company, and he was convicted of tax fraud. He was actually skimming money off the top of the paychecks of the doctors and nurses he employed and using it on luxury goods and to buy a boat. So that brings us to a total of $1.192 billion in debt canceled out by pardons that we know of.
Okay, so this is a question I have for you, for the attorneys. When it's pardoned, right? The people that they owed, who pays them?
No one. They don't get it. They lose it all, and it's all down the drain. I was looking to see if my name was on the list, to see if my, my school debt, my car loans, my mortgage were on there to be forgiven, but they weren't. But and one thing I just want to bring up is, when I was looking to see if Savannah Chrisley was an attorney, there was an article that was published today earlier that says that she stands firm against rumors that she slept with someone to get her parents pardoned. And that's what a whole story is about. And I know that's not with Trump, but people are saying that she had some influence in the oldest type of profession in order to get her parents pardoned. And again, I'm just reading the article. That's what I found when I was checking to see if she was an attorney.
I appreciate that intel, but I want to go back to this $1 billion, because this is that I want to make light of.
No, we really suffer. All of us.
Everybody that he pardoned that took advantage of hundreds and thousands of U.S. Americans, they're just out of their money.
You got it.
Those people.
Too bad, so sad. You're pardoned. That debt is goodbye.
Okay, so where is the check and balance? Like, Congress doesn't have anything to do with this. What does the Constitution say about the limits, if any, of a presidential pardon? Attorney Carter, can you help me out here?
Sadly, this is one of the few unlimited presidential powers. There was a thought at the time that, we could trust the president. The first one was George Washington. He never told a lie, whatever kind of nonsense that was. And basically, the truth of the matter is that these rich guys wanted to make sure that there was always some out. All right. This is one of those features of the system that's a feature, not a bug. All right. This is a bunch of rich guys saying, hey, we want to make sure that there's always going to be some out for our nonsense. All right. Wasn't any broke people in there making this rule. And this is a really bad rule. But sadly, there are no limits. I mean, for instance, one of the things that Savannah Chrisley, they think, is that she got this pardon because she agreed to speak at the RNC for Trump leading up to the election. Yep. And so she was supporting him as an influencer and all that. And so he paid her back by letting her parents go. That's not against the Constitution. All right. You know what? I don't even know.
I'm less worried about that. I'm worried about the $1 billion that people are.
Attorney Weiss, is there anything in there that you can see that would say the president literally could not take a bribe, that you could not say, here's money to pardon me or my dad or whatever?
No. He actually came out and said, you want to come to this country, $5 million, buy my green card, buy my gold card, whatever it is, $5 million, you're in. So yes, I mean, look, a lot of that money was defrauded from the government. It was defrauded, but yes, unfortunately, these victims, they're not going to see it.
I don't understand what he's out here cutting Medicaid and Medicare and healthcare and all this other stuff, federal jobs, but he's giving away $1 billion of pardons
to his friends. His friends don't need Medicare. His friends don't need Medicaid. His friends don't need that.
Or weren't they all in prison?
Well, then we paid for their health care, you know, but now it's look, unfortunately, there's no check on that abuse of power. He has the right to do it. Look, Biden on his way out, he pardoned some people. Trump on his way out the first time, he pardoned some people. That's always something that the president.
Yeah, but their pardon usually has some type of rhyme or reason. It's an argument. I remember pardons, you used to have to go and you have to make this long argument, and lawyers have to present all these cases.
Hey, President, remember the last time we were at that club and that thing with that guy and that girl and that? Yep, okay, I want part. You got it done.
Yeah,
and you know, here's the thing: is you're right about, Your Honor, and this is the thing that it's something we can argue about, be mad about, but there's no constitutional rule that he has to do it. Normally what happens, you're absolutely right, is that the Justice Department has an entire DOP, Department of Pardons, that they send the thing to, that the person, that somebody there is attorneys there to look and make sure that the person is not a continuing threat to the public, you know, that they express remorse, that there's a reason, that we think there's some policy reason, but the president can look at all that stuff and say, I don't care. Right. And by the way, you know, Clinton, you know, got criticized for some of his pardons as well. Pardoning his buddy was rich. You know, every president gets one or two sort of freebies, I guess. And Trump is just obviously like everything else. You know, you give him an inch, he takes 458 miles.
All right. This is my last question. My last question of the evening. As lawyers, how do you guys feel being lawyers? Because I know one of the things when you take office is you have an oath to upholding the Constitution, right? Like, how do you guys feel watching this president not only abuse his power, but almost looks like he's taking the Constitution and put it in a shredding machine?
So look, I mean, the one thing I'm going to say is this, and it's what Attorney Carter said. He's taking the whole proverbial bag and throwing it up against the wall. And as of now, the courts, the general public, Congress, they're standing up. What happens when it just continues to go and go and go, and they stop standing up? They stop paying attention. They say, you know what, we're going to give them this one. That's where the problem is. And yes, Trump did really pardon NBA YoungBoy.
No, guys, I'm confused. I asked the question. As lawyers, how are you feeling watching this man abuse the interpretation of the Constitution? As lawyers, because I mean, just as a you know, a judge of court of public opinion, I'm not even a real judge. I'm furious. I'm sitting here, I'm furious. I'm in disbelief. Sometimes I wake up and I can't believe that I live in the United States of America and this type of abuse of power is being exercised and what appears to me to be no repercussions. So as lawyers, because this is one of the reasons, well, besides making money, that you became lawyers, how do you feel having that JD and what he's doing as it relates to the Constitution?
Well, I gotta tell you, I'm proud. I'm proud of my profession. Now, here's the thing is, don't get me wrong. Remember, Trump's not a lawyer. All right. Trump is a thief, a professional thief. He's supposed to be thieving. And in our job as people who have, and Jason and I have both taken an oath, but we have literally sworn to uphold the Constitution. And there are lawyers out there doing that and doing it in the only way we can by taking him to court and challenging all of this stuff. We don't have an army. This is what we can do. Now, there are some lawyers who work on his side. And here's the good news. And I'm going to tell you out there, if you're out there listening now, this is your ass. And let me explain. All right. Everybody who's worked for Trump has ended up losing their law license, if not their career. All right. Remember Giuliani, America's lawyer? Yeah, he now is my butt. All right. He worked for me. All right. His ass is doing birthday parties. All right. And bar mitzvahs to try to make ends meet. All right. Remember Michael Cohen? Yep. His ass went to jail. He was in there with Diddy for a while. And now, so you work for Trump, do what you want to do. But please understand that when this administration is over, some of us are going to be filing bar complaints against you. And I'm going to be one of them. That's my job. All right. And so trust me, I'm not, I'm proud of the lawyers who stand up, the lawyers who don't stand up. You won't be lawyers when Trump's gone because and don't think he's going to come back and try to save you. He don't even think about it. He won't even let Giuliani be his butler. He's my butler. All right. So you ain't, so the whole thing is, as far as, the profession, this is really the only thing stopping. All right. All this stuff, because Congress is scared to talk. They're not taking any action. It's people going to court, filing cases, getting injunctions filed, and most of the damage that Trump has wanted to do, he hasn't been able to do yet. All right,
not legally.
Well, I shouldn't say it. He's been able to do a lot of damage because what he does is he'll do these things, and then the court has to come stop him, which means it takes months for people to get out of work and all that stuff. So he's doing some damage, but he won't be able to do permanent damage, if the lawyers keep doing what we're doing.
Let me ask you this.
And just think, whatever money that they're saving with all of these cuts on Medicare and Medicaid and all this, we're spending needing to hire new prosecutors, new judges, new clerks, new bailiffs, because the court system is being stretched beyond a breaking point, right? Every day we're reading about something new with this administration being challenged, being this. We're hiring lawyers left and right. So that's where the money goes.
This is my last personal question, because I'm gonna have a meltdown if I continue to talk about this. I just remember when Obama was in office. Everything he did, you read about how horrible he was, how unconstitutional everything he said was, and it ran in papers every day, all day, and they wanted to get that man out of the office, and it was just like a campaign that every day he was doing something wrong. Every day Michelle was doing something wrong. Every day the damn kids couldn't even go to school. They were doing something wrong. Even in the Biden administration, every day in all media outlets and all of the papers and everywhere online, they're a horrible administration doing this and ruining America, et cetera, et cetera. However, it's almost like we're numb to this stuff, and we're not getting the same response for 10 times worse presidency. So what is that? And why is that?
I mean, look, I saw a poll the other day that most people were not upset with how things are going. Most of the Trump supporters.
When's the last time we've seen those large marches that we saw against the Trump administration? Only a few months ago, let's not forget, it was only a few months ago that all the major cities had huge turnouts, thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people who are not satisfied with the Trump administration. How long did that last on television? The hour that it was on it.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, I can talk about this all night, but all right, Alvarez, this is the time of the show that we go back over the cases, and the lawyers are going to reveal guilty or not guilty as it relates to what's going on right now. Starting first with P. Diddy. All right, Weiss and Carter, what do you think? Is he winning or losing here?
He's definitely losing, but the question becomes, based on what Attorney Redwine said, she thinks they found Rico. But which was the one that she said they didn't find?
She said they didn't find sex trafficking.
Right, no trafficking. So look, he's losing no matter what. He's getting convicted of something, and mark my words, and I think Attorney Carter and Attorney Ross said it as well on a previous show, Diddy's getting pardoned.
Oh, all right, Attorney Carter, what say you?
The thing I got from Attorney Redwine's report, in addition to the fact that I need to move to Brooklyn because I'm not having that kind of fun on a Tuesday ever, is that they're starting to bring the RICO in. She mentioned how the person who paid off the $100,000 to the hotel guy was not Diddy, but his assistant. Remember, you can't have RICO by yourself. And so they're starting to bring in other people to say, hey, he had these other people do things. That's what's going to be necessary for the RICO. And remember, I told you before, I was a little, I didn't think that they were making a RICO case because everything was Diddy. But as they start bringing in these other people to show how they've been involved, then it becomes a criminal enterprise. Yeah, it looks bad for him.
I think you're going to get him. Guilty?
It looks bad. He's definitely guilty of something, but likely guilty.
All right, I'm Al Reynolds, and I'm the judge here in Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. And I'm going to say it's not proven yet. Right now, I cannot find Diddy not guilty of RICO and sex trafficking. I see it coming, but right now I'm not convinced. So I'm going to give him a not guilty for tonight. Next up, we have, you know who's next, Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion. Is Tory Lanez guilty or not guilty, Attorney Weiss, with this new information?
I honestly don't care. The case is over. It's finished. It's done. A lot of the viewers agree with me, and they don't care either. I think this whole thing is just something's wrong and guilty. Guilty.
I gotta say that I don't think he was ever guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. There was always enough things to, and the thing that's sad about our system is you're supposed to be guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. That we're supposed to be willing to let 1,000 guilty men go free to not lock up one innocent person. And the truth of the matter is, it looks like a lot of juries say, hey, somebody shot her. He was most likely did it. He's got to go. And I think that happens a lot of times in our court systems where we don't go beyond a reasonable doubt. We just simply say, you probably did that stuff.
And if he didn't do it this time,
hold on, guilty or not guilty?
So he's not guilty by reason of not beyond a reasonable doubt. He's likely guilty.
I'm Alan. I'm the judge here in Celebrity Court of Public Opinion, and we're going to find Tory Lanez not guilty as charged. I feel like I keep saying, something in the milk side clean. Next up, Zion Williamson. Is he guilty or not guilty of abusing that woman? Attorney Weiss, what say you?
See, that I'm going to say I haven't heard enough yet. So as of now, if I had to make a decision based on what we know, I'd say not guilty.
Okay. Attorney Carter?
Yeah, I mean, right now we just don't have enough information. I'm gonna need to see the receipts, also the pizza receipts, because that man needs to stay off some of that that New Orleans food.
Not guilty.
Not guilty so far. All
right, I'm Alan. I'm the judge here in Celebrity Court of Public Opinion, and we're going to find Zion not guilty as charged. Next up, Elon Musk. Is he guilty or not guilty of assaulting the Treasury Secretary? Attorney Weiss, what say you?
I want to say he's guilty just because it sounds good, and then he got what was coming to him. He got the elbow or the right hook. So I like it. I like that they're going, WWE style, like SL said. So guilty of entertaining me.
All right, Attorney Carter.
He is not guilty by reason of the fact that he's already lost $50 billion for being involved with Trump in the first place. All right, so if Trump lost me $50 billion, I won't punch somebody too.
All right, I'm Alan. I'm the judge here in Celebrity Court of Public Opinion, and we're finding Elon Musk guilty of being the richest man in the world, guilty of being the thug that you are, guilty of being the drug user that you are. Don't you ever say anything about our community about being thugs and drugs and all that other stuff, because you are just like him, and father of 12 kids. Guilty. All right, next up. I just had to say that.
Wait, was he guilty, Your Honor?
Yeah, I said guilty. Last up.
I think the way he acting, though, he does look like some of my family members. I got a brother-in-law like that. But anyway, go ahead.
I'm just saying they always talk about how ghetto we are, how we make babies out of wedlock, how we do all this stuff, and they don't even know how to act in the chambers, which is supposed to be one of the most subdued spaces in the Constitution.
And you don't wear a hat indoors.
I'm just saying indoors. All right, last up, Trump's pardon. Is he guilty of giving too many pardons? Attorney Weiss, what say you?
I will say yes, he's guilty of giving too many pardons, but unfortunately, based on the way the law is written, he is not guilty of giving pardons without permission to do so.
All right, Attorney Carter.
Yes, and I think for the reason that Attorney Weiss and I've talked about it, he's absolutely right. It's not illegal or unconstitutional, but the thing that's really messed up is that he could have given clemency that didn't allow these people to get out of their fines. He could have said, "Hey, we'll let you out of jail, all right, but you're gonna still pay your fine." And the fact that he allowed these people to still get ripped off, that's wrong.
Yeah.
I agree. All right, I'm Alan. I'm the judge here in Celebrity Court, and I'm going to find him guilty of giving Too many pardons to the tune of $1 billion to friends and family. It's something about that just needs to be unconstitutional. But as you see, he can do and say whatever he wants to. All right, algorithm, tonight we pull back the curtain on Hollywood, on politics, on text gods, and on sports kings. And what did we see? We saw a system so warped by fame, money, and a spin on the story that truth itself has become negotiable. Tory has a new tape. Diddy has a new witness. Zion has a new lawsuit. Musk throws hands. Trump throws pardons. And somewhere in between, justice just vanishes. But this isn't just a show. It's a reckoning. So this is what I say. We dare you, yes, you, to talk about it. Drop down in the chat. Get into the conversations. Post, debate, disagree. But if one thing we can't do right now, we can't stay silent. Because in the celebrity court of public opinion, if you say nothing, that means you've already cast your vote. Think about that and do something. Make some noise like Jamal Bryant. I'm Al Reynolds, and I'm your judge here in Celebrity Court, and court is now, session is adjourned.